Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, that Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And as it would be, I have one of the wonderful people from COMC with us here today. It's Candia Eidson, registered nurse and chief nursing officer at COMC, right? Okay, so what does a chief nursing officer do?
Well, I'm kind of learning this role. It's the first time they've ever had a chief nursing officer, so I can't really follow in anyone's footsteps.
You're kind of writing the manual as you go, huh?
Yes, and I'm trying to make it great. I want to make it great, so it gives future nurses something to look forward to strive to be. But I think it's just more about getting all the nurses under all doing the same thing, same processes across the organization instead of siloed off into each clinic.
Yep.
And just giving us standard operating procedures and just really working with the staff to make sure we're providing the highest quality of care to the patients.
Yeah, try to make everything flow as good as possible. And it's not just over one group of nurses, it's over the whole spectrum of nurses at COMC. So that's a pretty busy job. So what got you into nursing? Is this something that you've always kind of felt called to do, or how did you get into it?
Well, right out of school, I wanted to be an accountant.
Okay.
And so I went to school a little bit for that. And then I was raising a family, and there's that fly. Raising a family. And then I decided, I talked with my husband, and I either wanted to go to school to be a teacher or a nurse. And I ultimately decided on nursing because I got to do some nursing, and I also, when you're a nurse, you're a teacher as well.
Right,
so I get to educate patients all the time. So I kind of got the best of both worlds.
Well, that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as a nurse, you have to be tough to be a nurse because you got to do physical stuff to help people who can't do it on their own, right? But then you also have to clean up messes. So you got to be, that's not an easy job sometimes. You got to be a stud.
Yeah, it's not an easy job, which is why it's really, really great that they put me in this role. So I'm sitting at the table when we're making decisions, so they are aware of what nurses are doing every day.
And how long have you been at COMC? Have you been there a while?
Been there 9 years, a little over 9 years.
Okay. A great organization, right? I think it's growing so much now that pretty much everybody in the community has heard of COMC now. But for a while there, it was kind of flying under the radar. Maybe a few people hadn't heard about it. But now everybody pretty much knows what COMC is.
Yes.
So that is pretty cool. Okay, so you gave me a list of things that you wanted people to think about, understand, know that this is important when it comes to medical health. One of those is prenatal care and adding oral health to that. Okay, and to me, I'm thinking, okay, prenatal care and oral health, how do those fit together?
Well, with prenatal care, a lot of women get Medicaid. A lot of people do not have dental care or anything like that.
Right.
It's very important because when you're pregnant, the baby's taking a lot of nutrients from your body. So your teeth are a part of that. So you really want to keep that care going, and Medicaid does cover those services for OB patients. Plus now, just recently, they've added 12 months after the birth of the baby that they will cover full Medicaid for the mother.
As you're getting your prenatal care, and you might as well make sure everything's going on with your dental care and stuff like that. If that starts going south, that can cause some serious problems, the dental health and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like you say, things we don't think about. The baby is soaking up a lot of the nutrients and stuff from the mother as it's growing and everything like that. After prenatal care, you get into pediatrics. Mm-hmm. The young kids, you guys are big on pediatrics. And one of the things you really like to keep up on, you remind families, is the Wellchild checkups. What are those all about?
The Wellchild checks is where the pediatrician, or we have family practice providers that also provide those Wellchild checks to patients. They're coming in, they call them EPSCTs, so they're early periodic screening, diagnostic, and then testing.
Wow. Okay.
So they can identify anything that's going on and then, send you for the tests, make sure, they do vision screenings, they do hearing, they do anything that child might need. and they get immunizations, like if they're behind on those.
Right.
They also, when it seems like, I'm a parent, and as my children got older, I stopped taking them to the doctor, and they really do need to see a doctor at least once yearly for that. Usually we're seeing these kids for sports physicals.
Yep.
And sometimes they identify some things at those, but really those Wellchild checks are when they can really identify anything going on with your child.
Yeah, it's pretty smart to keep up on that just to make sure everything is kept up on and the doctor knows what's going on. Medicare is a big thing, right? In today's world, it's a huge thing. There's AWVs in Medicare. What is that?
Annual wellness visits.
Okay.
So, you come in to see your provider. They're usually scheduled 20-minute appointments. So they're trying to do the best they can to get all your preventatives and get all your risk and anything that you might be struggling with at home, but they just don't have the time to do it. Well, the annual wellness visits are allotted anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour, and usually a lot of the time is spent with the nurse.
Yeah.
And she's asking anything from, do you have any loose, stairs, you have railing, you have poor lighting, how would you describe your diet?
Yeah.
And if your diet's not good, like why? Are you struggling with money? Are you struggling with, your finances? A lot of grandparents around here are raising grandchildren.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for them to, have everything that they need because they're struggling to raise them. So it's just mainly really having that time to really get to know, because they're finding out if you have any specialists that you're seeing, if they're prescribing, they're going over a detailed medication reconciliation with you.
Yeah.
It's about a 40-minute. They're identifying any preventatives you might need, such as colonoscopies, mammograms.
Right.
You need your Prevnar, your Pneumovax, anything like that. They're just looking into it.
Okay. So we're getting to know more about COMC, how that works. It's Candia Eidson, registered nurse. So we'll continue to talk about all this, find out about all this medical terminology and stuff like that when we come back on the Community Spotlight Show. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. Central Ozarks Medical Center, voted Missouri's best and best at the lake, is recruiting team members due to growth. Amazing employment opportunities for both medical and non-medical positions with competitive salaries and outstanding perks. For more information, go to the Careers tab at centralozarks.org. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Join a leader. Join our team. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootout. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, and we've got Candia Eidson with us, a registered nurse, chief nursing officer at Central Ozarks Medical Center. So we're kind of learning all about wellness checks and how to stay up with all that stuff, and we'll continue doing that. Are you a native to the area? Did you grow up around here, or did you come in?
I grew up in Max Creek.
Really?
So,
okay.
Graduated from Max Creek.
So you've been here for a little while. This place has grown a lot, hasn't it, over the years?
It
Wow.
has. So much change.
Okay. And you married your high school sweetheart.
Yes.
You told me that worked out pretty well. Like 3 kids, couple of grandkids, and growing. And how great is that?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's really, really perfect.
So, and you guys met in Max Creek, is that right, or what?
In school.
How about that? It's like a success story. Unfortunately, we don't get to hear that story so much anymore, so that's great. So COMC keeps you busy, as you're in charge of all the nursing and everything. What do you like to do for fun?
Well, it's something new. We just bought a Can-Am.
Okay.
And so we go with our friends, and we go we call them our buggies. We go buggy riding like at all different places.
Yeah.
We do some back roads here, of course.
Yeah.
But we also we've been to South Dakota. We're going to Tennessee in August. So it's just like a fun time, just outdoors, and it's different. I like the beach. He likes doing that. So we compromise.
There's so many beautiful trails in this area, though, whether it's Missouri or Arkansas or, even Colorado, whatever. There's some gorgeous trails out there.
Yes,
so it's
there is.
pretty neat. Okay, so let's get back to the medical stuff. You are the chief nursing officer, kind of oversee all the nursing at COMC. Unfortunately, we've heard that fentanyl has become a huge problem in the area. I know there was recently a big drug bust, and the drugs were laced with fentanyl and stuff like that. And you guys, being a big major healthcare facility, help deal with that in this area. How do you do that? What things do you do?
Well, we've placed Narcan vending machines at multiple. There's at least one in each county. We have one in front of our clinic here in Camdenton, one at the fire station, that fire department, Mid-County, I think. We have one in Pulaski County, and we have one in Miller County. And we have one at our hub in Osage Beach, which is a very good resource for people.
Yeah.
Because fentanyl is being laced in everything, and people aren't even aware that they're getting it.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you guys are there to try to help with all of that. Postpartum. We talked earlier about prenatal care and about pediatrics, postpartum, and you help take care of that as well, I'm guessing. How does that work?
Postpartum care. Well, we encourage patients to come in. I think they come in a week to 2 weeks after the birth of their baby. We're doing some what they call the Edinburgh Depression Scale, where we can really, really monitor them for postpartum depression.
Right.
Because that's a big thing.
It's a real thing.
Yes, moms don't understand it because they feel like they should be joyous and happy because they have their baby and all of that. But unfortunately, hormones can lead to depression, and we want them to be the best moms they can be. So we monitor that. We also have some providers that specialize in depression medications for postpartum or for even our OB patients.
Right.
So
okay. And again, there was a stigma on that for a long time, for many years, and there should not be a stigma on that. Because like you say, hormones are involved, a whole lot of things are involved, and you guys can definitely help with that. And of course, whenever you're talking about medical care, preventatives are always a good thing to look at, to try to keep up on different kind of screenings and mammograms and stuff like that. And you guys do all that?
We do.
Okay.
We refer out to have them done. We don't have the stuff in clinic to do them. There is some screening we can do, but we refer out for like colonoscopies. We're actually part of a grant where if someone doesn't have insurance, we can work with Lake Regional, or we work with MU to where we can provide them that colonoscopy with no cost to them.
Wow.
There's just some paperwork that has to be done.
Right.
And there's just so many things that are preventative that if people would just do their preventatives,
right,
they could avoid some of the stuff that happens to them.
Yeah, keep up, stay ahead of that, go in. And again, there's another stigma that we used to have. I haven't seen a doctor for 60 years, and well, maybe you should go, right?
Yes.
And get checked up and make sure everything's. And right now, you guys, we've talked about how fast COMC has grown. New locations in Laurie and Eldon. You're in Camdenton and Osage Beach and Richland, and you guys are looking for staff, for help right now. If somebody is interested in that, how do they go about getting more information?
They can go to centralozarks.org that lists all of our openings. And I know some people are saying that they feel like they don't look at our. Because we're always hiring, they think that we're always in need, like we're always losing staff, but that's not the case. We're just growing so fast that we just need help all of the time.
Yeah.
So.
And you're in charge of all the nurses. You would like to have a few more nurses on staff.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So she is Candia Eidson, registered nurse, also in charge of all the nurses there at COMC as the chief nursing officer. And again, if folks want to go get more information on COMC, whether it's for a job or see what you do healthcare-wise, it's centralozarks.org. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you again for having me.
All right. Candia Eidson, Chief Nursing Officer, Central Ozarks Medical Center. Again, go check them out, centralozarks.org. And thank you so much for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.